Hi friends, so I am Rajendra Kumar Yadav and this video will be all about the VScode. So let us begin. Let's open a browser. And search for VScode. It is a editor cum IDE which support a lot of languages. It's built on Electron. So Electron is a cross-platform engine for developing native applications using your HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Its core is Node.js and Chromium V8 engine. V8 engine it's not this V8 engine. This is Chrome V8 engine. So it is a JavaScript engine which backs Node.js also. The same engine is used to back the Electron platform. There is a lot of other applications which are based on it. One is, as VScode. We are talking about. There is Facebook Messenger, then Slack, then number of other. There is another very famous editor based on Electron. That's Atom. It is older than VScode and is quite versatile. You can say that it is same as VScode. It have a lot of plugins, have community support. Initially it was developed by GitHub. Later, as GitHub is by the Microsoft, and as you are aware that Visual Studio is also a Microsoft tool. It is proprietary. So there is two main edition for this VScode. One is stable, about which we will look, and another is insider edition, which is, you can say that, like beta version or somehow rolling release, or simply early access program if you are Android user, so you can understand about that. So our prime focus is VScode, so we will close all other tabs. There is another edition of it which is called as VScode. It is open source implementation of VScode and simply a fork of this, and VScode is a open source actually, so you can find its code on GitHub. So this VScode is a fork from this VS Code's original, means, but it have proprietary license of Microsoft, whereas VS Code is open source and built over MIT license. It doesn't have any tracking and telemetry information. That's the difference. All other thing is exactly same. It is available for all the operating system as VS Code. So as I'm using Linux, here it suggests me that either I can download a Dev edition or RPM. So Dev is used for the Debian based operating system like Debian itself, Ubuntu, Mint, Parrot and a lot of others, and your Raspberry Pi also, but that is being ARM based. Then RPM is for Red Hat and Fedora based, like Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS, OpenSUSE and so. You can download it for other platform also. For Windows it support 64-bit, 32-bit and ARM based operating system. You can install it in the user mode, then system mode, and even you can download it in the form of zip. For Linux, as I has already told about Dev and RPM, you can download a tar.zz file. In that you does not require to install it. You can simply extract this archive file and run the binary. There is a store that is called a Snap Store. It is available on that also. You can install from that. For Mac user, you can simply download a DMZ file, mount it and just grab the VS Code or Visual Studio Code into your applications folders. Okay, so what actually it supports? So it have a very good IntelliSense, as you are able to see that it is part of Visual Studio. Visual Studio is primarily used for C++ development and C# development, or .NET actually. So it is somehow relating from that. So it have very great IntelliSense. You can as it is editor, not a full-fledged IDE, but you can debug the thing. It have built in Git, so you can push and pull your source code from SCM, that is called as source code management or source control management, I'm sorry. Yeah, so you can directly do the thing. Surely will require to install the thing. Even you can merge the different if there is any mismatch, then you can merge that using this editor. Surely will require to install the Git in your operating system, even though it have built-in support of that. Means if you are using Linux, so you will require to install Git in it. There is a huge set of extensions and that provide its backend power. It support the languages, themes, a debugger, and a lot more other things. As you are able to see, there is Python related plugin. This is for Git Lens, then C++, ESLint, and so there is a huge set of it. If you are working on the cloud-based environment or WSL environment, Windows Subsystem Linux, or Docker or Kubernetes like this thing, so you can simply deploy your data using this editor. So how you can install it? Here is the way. For your specific, as in the Windows, you simply need to download and by the few clicks, and next you can install. For the Mac, you can mount it and simply drag the application icon into your applications folder. So in case of Linux, because Linux is a little bit trickier than these, so if you have Snap Store, you can simply follow this instruction to install the stable channel of VS Code. If you want insider, then replace this code with code insiders, and you can have these two together and can use simultaneously. If you has downloaded the deb package, so can be installed using this command. You can add this into your repository, and further you can install. So this is the instruction to install your repository for Debian based, whereas this is for your Red Hat and Fedora based operating system. You can also install it for OpenSUSE Linux. Okay, so this is the way by which you can install. So I has already installed the VS Code, but yet I haven't I has cleaned it. So as I launch, it will be look as you will launch it for the first time. So yeah, let us begin. Wait for a moment. It is quite fast, quite lightweight, means so as you will launch for the first time, your editor will look like this. It is very native look of Visual Studio if you have ever used it in the Windows. So here is the guideline that Microsoft Collect uses data. You can read the privacy statement, and also you can opt it. So it is up to you that whether you want to keep it or opt it. We will do it in the upcoming video. So for now, it is your panel. Just close it, and I will actually open a folder in it, and then we will see its power. So here I has loaded a Python virtual environment and a project actually. it is suggesting that the file is too large, and so just close it for now and close this welcome screen also. So there is a lot of section of this editor. Likewise, you can launch it here, and then you are able to see another panel here. So there is a recommendation that it is a Python project. You can install this extension. We will see about it in the upcoming video. So first, the different parts or the different section which are visible here. So this section where you are able to see this code is your main playground, or called as editor section. This section where panel, output, debugging, console and terminal is visible, it is simply called as panel. This is your status bar. Here is the sidebar. It is your activity bar. As usual, it is your menu bar. It is the minimap. Here is the navigational path of your file. So, and it is actually sidebar. Here is outline for your project, that in which section of code you are now inside of it. And here is options by which you can search for the file. It is your files panel. Here open editor means which file is open. Here you can track that. Then it is for search and replace. Then source control. You can directly publish it at your GitHub repository. You can initialize a Git a repository here. Then how to debug and run the code. Then the extensions. You can connect it with your online account to synchronize your settings and things. And here is your setting. So there is a lot of options, color, then setting, and so. You can tweak these fields, like if I do not want to show the menu bar, I simply need to uncheck this. If I do not want to show sidebar, then status, and so you can enable and disable it from here. Here how your editor area must be visible, like if you want to open a file side by side, then also you can do. You can split it into the much more way. But for now, I need to simply edit the setting, as the fonts are quite smaller. I want it to look little bit bigger. So into the file menu, open preferences and setting. You can directly go by pressing Ctrl comma, or from here I will press Ctrl comma. There is two modes to edit this. One is into the UI mode, another is into JSON file mode. To edit it into the JSON file mode, you must have the basic idea. Initially there was only JSON file mode in the a few updates, or just 5 or 6 months ago the UI has been added. So I personally prefer to edit into the JSON file mode. First and most important thing, I will change the font size of it. So editor dot font size, I want to make it 16. So as you are able to see here yourself that there is a change. There is a open source font called as JetBrains Mono. I has already installed it in my system, so I can access that font here. And another Microsoft font, that is Cascadia Mono, which is used for Windows Terminal, but it is also open source. Yeah, sorry, it is actually Cascadia Code. Then I want to make this font little bit bigger. A little bit you can say the bolder. So I simply put it 500. Here is little bit bolder now. Editor dot font languager, I want to enable it. So what does it mean by languager? It simply means that when you are typing something and there is an arrow. We usually call it arrow functions or arrow like this, but that is not look like. But as you type it here, you are able to see that equal to equal to equal to is looking like 3 lines, and so this is languages. Now it is the basic setting. We have a lot of other options for editor setting, like indentation, code length, decorations. You can have, cursor, how cursor should look like, what should be the width of cursor. You can find a lot of things here. How should your code formatted on save, on paste, and so on. You can customize it as per your need and preference. I personally like to have a spacing between the line, so I make it 30. It is looking little bit good than the previous one. Then there is editor dot letter spacing. By default it is 0. I want to make it 0.5. It is 0.3. make it yeah, it is looking quite good than the previous one. I personally do not like this breadcrumbs, so I want to disable it. So simply breadcrumb enable and set it disable. Here is minimap, which is used to navigate into if you are writing a huge set of code, then it is used for the navigation, for the fast navigation actually, but I do not personally like it, so I will disable it. So false. Yeah, that's all, false, and save it. As you are able to see, that is gone. Here you are able to see that the outline is looking. You can directly navigate from here also. Here is the open editor file. You can directly right click here, and if you do not want to show that, so you can directly disable that from here also. Whatever you want to enable or disable. Even you can click on these icons and can uncheck it to hide that. As here is tweet feedback, I do not want to enable here, so I simply hide tweet feedback, and that has gone. Now move ahead, and as you are able to see that our file is ready, I will activate my VNV bin, and then activate. Okay, so as my local Python environment is activated, I can run it here. It have integrated terminal also, so that is quite beneficial. Means you need not require to tweak between your terminal and your editor. You have by default your terminal open just below your editor section. If there is a problem, you can have the access from here. If there is a warning, that is also visible over here. Now if you want to hide, it is little bit advanced because we are just covering the basic. But if I want to hide this folder, so you can include files.exclude. So by default these files are excluded, but if I want to exclude, like here I do not want to see VE and VE, so I simply need to add that VENVE, and I want to hide it. As you see, you are able to see here that your file is gone. I mean it is there, it is in the disk. If you run it like as it is Unix, so .4 files are usually kept hidden. So a folder is there or file is there, but you are not able to see that. So for now I keep it enabled, but yes, surely you can tweak that. Now I'm moving ahead. I was at the starting I was talk about the telemetry. So I do not want to see or I do not want to send any data to the Microsoft, either it is anonymously or in any way. Here in the applications you have options of it that you can disable from here by clicking just it. As you tweak it, it is automatically saved. but you can simply go into the JSON file mode and you can find that there is additional option is added that telemetry enable cache report is false. So from here I want to disable the telemetry reporting also. Now my editor will not send any telemetry as well as any crash report to the Microsoft. So both the way it is working exactly fine, as you are able to see here. Now this option has been disabled. When you are installing a plugin, so you have to see the license for that what they actually taking from them. So most of the people do not usually see the extensions license and privacy policy, that what they are grabbing from you, how much data they are taking from you. So you need to see that. For mine, I want to change these icons because as it is folder, but I cannot see any folder icon, and so I want to install a icon pack, you can say simply. So there is a material icon which I mostly prefer to install. So this is which I prefer. You can choose any of these. Some comes with the theme pack, means come together actually, theme as well as icon. Some of these come only icon, and you can prefer any, means if you has installed the icon from some other, you can implement it in some other theme also. So here is the icon for a specific file type, like if there is Angular, so Angular icon look like this, then Angular component will look like this, Android related files will look like this, Docker, and so most of the file type are have its icon. So just install it and see the effect. As you select here and activate this icon, there will be a change in your setting file. You can open it, and here your icon theme, means the workspace icon theme is changed, and now you are able to see here a little icon of folder. Then the folders have differences, means bin folder have different type of icon, whereas library have other type of icon. Then git ignore file have its own, then configuration file have, and then Python. So all the file have now a specific icon and looking quite vibrant, along with your open file tab. Here is also your icon is visible. So I personally do not like the default theme of VScode, so I will install a theme that is named as One Dark. Wait for a second till it is connecting, and yes, there is a response. So there is a number of theme with exactly same name, and here is the license tab. You can find the licenses about about your plugin as well as your software. Any software if you are installing, there is a license for that. So I personally like this Atom 1 dark theme, so I will install it. Just apply it. So as you are able to see that your whole editor is looking uniform, means in the same color. Here is option that you can either enable or disable. By default, this section of preview code is in the Fira code. It is also a Fira mono, actually a font which support Linguature also. So you can choose any font which you prefer. But actually their recommendation is to use this one. But yes, I will go by with my own. So it is fine for me. Now as we would open this file, there was a suggestion to install a extension named Python. You can just go here. Here is a recommendation panel. Here you are able to see that they are suggesting that you can install Python, Docker, HG. HG is, you know, Mercurial, like it is like Git Hub for your kind information. Then SQL tool, then VIM editor, you know, key binding, then other all. So my code is actually in the Python. I will require to install it, but before it, I will, most of people Sublime editor. So I like, you know, Sublime's key binding. Here is a lot of key binding set like Sublime. Then simply key maps, actually search. Would you like to customize behavior? No, actually I want the default one. So I install it. I personally prefer this. If you like NetBeans, like here, or a VIM key map. So there is Eclipse, there is Sublime, which I personally prefer. There is Atoms, Notepad++, then Visual Studio, then a huge set of other, even VIM editor is there. So you can choose any of your preference, but I personally prefer to go with Sublime. It have a lot of things like multi-point selection, and so if you press Ctrl D by selecting a character, it will select all over your file. Well, now it is looking quite good. So further we will install a plugin called as Python, which is developed by Microsoft. Here is the basic introduction of it. As I've already told you, that read licenses of every extension, what it is doing: linting, debugging, IntelliSense. It supports Jupyter Notebook inside your VScode. Sorry, I am actually talking about VScode actually. Code formatting, refactoring, unit testing, and so. Here is the language support. But yeah, I'm using Python 3.8 with PyLancer along with Python extension, and it is working fine. As you will install, you can select the interpreter based on your choice. So I want to install this one. Along with it, there is another PyLance, this one, and it is based on PyWrite. It is another actually extension. It is, very good, and still it is in the preview, but I personally prefer it to install, and it is great. So it will take few time. And there is another IntelliSense, actually INTLI. So wait for a second. Yes, Microsoft IntelliSense. It support with Python, have native support of TypeScript and JavaScript. Then it support Java. Even if you install the Java extensions, it work like IDE. Actually it is work like Eclipse, and it also have support for TSQL, most probably MS SQL. So it will take few time to install. So I will pause the video here, and as it will be installed, I will again start the recording. Yeah, so as you are able to see here, our Python, PyLance, Visual Studio IntelliSense code is installed. Now we have these much plugin installed in our VScode. Now here is the option. You can select your Python interpreter. So these are the options which are available in my computer. There is Python 2.7.18. Then I has Anaconda in my local environment. Then Python 3.8. But I have already created a VENV, this one, virtual environment for Python 3.8.5. so I will prefer with this, and I hit enter. Here you are able to see that your environment is means visible now. So if you press this play button, it will run in your integrated terminal. So as you are able to see here, here is the output. So as in the few minutes ago, there was a problem with editor. In the same way, there is the problem with the terminal also. I mean, it is not looking too good. Its font is quite small here. So as you have installed, automatically this PyLens, means Py language server is PyLens, has been added with your setting. If you haven't installed PyLens, then it is not necessary. I mean, it is not required actually. Here is the option. You can use JD, PyLens, Microsoft, or none. Now update the setting for terminal. So I want these fonts little bit bigger. Here is the cell options, like if you have default ZSH G cell, then you can change it with VAS or something like that. Same with the Microsoft, Linux, and all others. So terminal.integrated, or simply type terminal font size. I want it little bit bigger, so 16. It support fuzzy matching. Because of that, I can directly type font family, then also it will match. So I will use here Cascadia code. Now it is looking quite good. Then terminal.integrated. You will require to install these fonts, because these fonts are not coming by default in your editor. Then font weight, I want it up to 600. Is it looking good? Yes. So now it is good than the previous one. Here your IntelliSense data is being collected, means there is a model. As it is AI based, so it will require some model to analyze your code, and based on that it will give the output or suggestions. So it will gather it. It will take some time, so I will leave it as it is doing over. Don't concentrate over there. When it will finished, surely it will impact your editors, simply you can say that ability to the suggestions. There will be a star which will be suggested by this IntelliSense. You can find about it here in the IntelliSense, and if you will see the documentation of it. Likewise, as they are typing, there is a star, means it is being suggested by your IntelliSense plugin. So up to now, B has installed a Python plugin. There is a huge set of plugins which you can prefer. It have a very good support with C and C++. Okay, it is also developed by Microsoft. This plugin has been developed by Microsoft actually. It supports IntelliSense, debugging, and code browsing. It have very good navigation between the codes. In the same way, it supports CMake, very prominent build system for C++ code, and mostly with, I don't know how much project, but yeah, mostly with all projects. It have plugin for Java. It has been developed by Microsoft. Some of these, language server and all has been developed by Red Hat also. There is debugger and number of others. So when you install it, it is probably work as Eclipse IDE. In the same way, I like Rust also to write on this. So there is a plugin for Rust. There is a plugin for Golang which is developed by Google. You can install it and enjoy the IntelliSense and other related things with it. Okay, by default it have, as you install this IntelliSense plugin, it will automatically support for JavaScript and TypeScript. Yeah, it have an HTML CSS is default one, so I'm not talking about them. There is plugins for PHP. There is no any verified developer for the plugin of this, but I probably prefer to install this one. It have a very good support for IntelliSense and related thing of Python. Sorry, for PHP actually. I'm sorry. I was talking about PHP and say Python. So there is a huge set of options that you can prefer and install. So I hope that this much. Yeah, there is a lot of other options that can help you to customize it. Like I want to hide my menu bar visibility. I want to keep it toggle, means by default it will be hidden, but when I press Alt button in my computer or keyboard, it will automatically make it visible, and it can be tweaked, means toggled, by pressing Alt button. I can hide this activity bar visible. I want to make it false, and as you are able to see that activity bar has gone. You can toggle your menu and can have access of these fields like Explorer. By default Explorer is actually open, and there is the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+E, then Ctrl+Shift+F for search and replace, then SCM extensions for Ctrl+X. So if you want more space, then you can go with this. So I personally prefer to write the code using this editor. It is very versatile. You can hide any part of you can close and copy the path, relative and absolute path. You can hide any of these tweaks, and so there is a recommendation. Even you can hide individual section from here. Like I do not want to see the recommendation. I want Explorer. If you want to enable or disable like open files, so here you have direct access of these. There is outlines by which you can directly access this field. Like this, I want to go at the very top, so you can directly go over there. You can hide it. Even you can customize it. Open, like editor.open. Yeah, simply Explorer actually. So there is actually option sort order, how it will be sorted, and open files Explorer. I hope that it is here. Okay, it should ask for the confirmation before deleting. Just a second. Actually, you can enable and disable here that how much files there should be open. So you can have a documentation of a specific section also at here. Like there is user guide. You can read from here like how IntelliSense work, how basic editor part works, how emits work. You can save the snippet and then press tab to complete the code. There is refactoring that is also supported by it. Accessibility, if a person is blind or somehow disabled, haven't proper access or properly see the thing, then it have support for them also. These are the languages which is most probably supported by this editor. Even yes, markdown file is also supported here. You can write Java, PHP, Python, Go, C#, .NET Core, and so. You have the documentation for the specific languages in the detail. These are the languages, extensions that has been developed by the Microsoft. Because of that, they are providing the documentation about these on their own website. Yeah, there is another very important thing I was forgot to tell you about. Now you have feature. Initially it wasn't there, but now you have. If you enable it to synchronize with your Git or your Microsoft account, then your setting will save over there, and if you open it into a new computer or at your workplace, then you will simply require to grab that setting. Means you will not required to change it always and always, but it is by default being supported by your editor. Now you have these options for find and replace, and how they exactly works. I personally prefer C language to write in it, TypeScript, JavaScript, and Rust, even Python also. So yeah, I hope that it is helpful to you. If it is actually anyway helpful to you, then please tell to your friend who are in our same industry, who do like to use editors. Watch it, like it, subscribe it, and share it with your friend. Thank you for watching it. Have a nice time. Happy coding.